So ngikathola stuff.
Okay.
Kaufela sifelletse.
Uthola stuff usifelletse. Okay, ushota.
Kamile respat.
Kamile respat stuff.
Yeah.
Kena le plan. I know someone anang le gas.
Amapili.
Una le tickets bang inang le gas.
Ulinga okay.
Unsa makasi.
Amapili. Unovaya ukopana le uthi enza makasi.
Nikvaya ukopana le uthi enza makasi ba hona inoba kalkas bekere mna isinu manga inamba tsa. Diko fella ka kalkas.
Mlekasele lhula kae. Give me a measurement.
Kilkasi man, kilkasi. You know. Lekasi size coffee. Bona, staffu, lekasi, pata.
TC, Nambuli, Yellow Solo, CJP, Wild Styles, Dungeons, Kalaharians, Freedom.
Which is why you should not have sex with goats. I'm Teboho Theoha.
I'm still Thabo Manoto.
And you're watching the Rona Reviews. Since we can't meet for our usual social gatherings because of the COVID-19 restrictions, I have a proposal. Well, let's start a church.
Like an entire church?
A whole entire church. At church, 50 people can gather.
Where are you going with this?
If you were going to be designing clothes and fancy garments for the Durban July, or with these big events, right?
Yeah.
Okay, kerekeng Rona, o etsa seaparo.
Asana span no sa Durban July.
I want to sponsor Durban July, so we get Rich Mnisi to come and design the seaparo for our church.
I like it.
You get what I'm saying? I
like it.
Right? We get Vusi Tembekwayo to come and be the person doing the collect for our church.
It's Vusi. Rateba the money for a time bezla zaka kapa patele mauti.
We know we don't need to worry about wine.
At all.
All we need to do is get some water.
And then, splaka.
Black Jesus will sort us out.
I rode into town on an ass. Yo mama's ass.
Speaking of which, my name is YoungHero, and I'm going to discuss my top 5 TV drunks. At number 1, we have Sibeko, Mzinyo's in Insizwa. Sibeko was this guy that did not give a shit. I'm allowed to say shit. You can't even say whether he was drunk or sober because he was always drunk. And number 2, we have Tyrion Lannister. He was filthy rich, spoiled, slept with beautiful women that were way out of his league, and drank every day. Tyrion Lannister lived my life. And number 3, we have Hancock, the very first black superhero. Ignore Blade. Hancock was our very own first superhero, and for some reason they had to make him a drunk. I loved Hancock because Hancock did not give a shit. For some strange reason, I really like superheroes that don't give a shit. Speaking of drunken superheroes, number 4, we have Thor. One of my favorite drunks because he can drink for days without getting drunk. Remember when he gave Stan Lee some of that elixir, just a little shot of that elixir, and he had him flat on the ground? That's Thor for you. And number 5, my favorite, Lloyd from Black Jesus. Lloyd is played by John Witherspoon, the late great John Witherspoon, who plays his granddad in the Boondocks. Lloyd is a bum. All he wants is lottery numbers, and Jesus is like, yo, Lloyd, there's so many things I can give you. Lloyd is like, Jesus, what else do you have for me? Jesus is like, well, I got love, compassion. And Lloyd was like, fuck out of here with that shit, man. Ain't nobody got time for that. And that's how I knew this dude is my favorite. Those are my top 5. Those are my top 5 TV drunks. I'm still YoungHero. Binge ride.
Aspirate. I think it's for women. It's very, very sweet. I'll give it like a 2 out of 10.
Espiriti is so sweet. Espiriti is dreadful. Who drinks this? Did they bring it back? 1 out of 10. 1.
Brings back the days where I used to work in a cider plant. Quality cider, beautiful, underrated by most people. I'll give it a solid 7 out of 10.
Strongbow was nice before it went away. They brought it back. I know, doesn't taste the same. It's not as nice. Mind you, I was a child when I was tasting this, but I'll give it a 3 out of 10.
With the White Dove end, or even the drink, Alaska. Whew. That one is harsh. Alaska is harsh. It has these notes that just don't agree well with the stomach or any part of the body. I give it a 2 out of 10.
There are certain alcohols that the smell of them makes you sick. It reminds you of previous sickness. Alaska is that. 1 out of 10.
Clubman Mint. Brings back the time when you were young and you were making punch that's got peppermint in it and the women love it. It has a very special place in my heart. I'll give it a 6 out of 10.
Oh, great for a party. Also great for degreasing an engine. Also great as a paint stripper. Oh, it's so bad. So bad. 0.
So I love Russian Bay. But then the next day, Russian Bay, you feel like you got hit by a train. So I give it a 5 out of 10.
Russian Bay is the stuff though. Russian Bay is the stuff. Also went away, also came back. Not quite the same. I think it came back a little bit better. But the old Russian Bay, I'll give it a 4 out of 10.
Autumn Harvest is harsh. I give it a 1 out of 10.
Autumn Harvest technically is sparkling wine. It is the furthest thing from champagne. If you have champagne on one side, the opposite side of the world is going to be Autumn Harvest.
Reminds me of my old man, my granddad. He used to love Old Brand Sherry. Actually, my first sip of Old Brand Sherry was with him. So it has a very special place in my heart and my spirit. I'll give it a 8 out of 10.
I was exactly 11 years old when I first had Old Brown Sherry, and it was at church for communion. It was a communion at church. Didn't really like it, but the priest seemed to enjoy it quite a bit. 4 out of 10.
DJ Hula. Be easy. I'll give it a 3 out of 10.
Oh, legendary Papsak. I have also gone up Papsak life in your house. Maka. We all had Papsak at some point. I'll give Papsak a 3 out of 10.
Beautiful scent, beautiful notes. And then you woke up feeling like you got hit by a train again. But this time it's probably like 3 trains. Give it a 1 out of 10.
I don't know whose idea it was to mix this ridiculously cheap alcohol with ice cream and custard, turning the whole party into a vomitorium. 0 out of 10.
TC Nambuli
Hey, Angela, come on. If you want to have an LCAS, on those you're again. Mount is a stoop. Oh, I can't on Chata 800 on Sastu. Okay. You can't see the stoop. When I was going to get anything,